Have you been painfully mean to yourself lately? Have you treated yourself as you were the worst enemy you ever had? Well, if that has been the case, today we are ending it. Because today we're talking about how to stop being mean to yourself. Hi, I'm Judie. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. I post videos every week. Have you ever thought about how many thoughts do you have in a day? Which, if you think about it, is kind of a weird question. But anyways, have you ever thought how many actual thoughts you have within a day? The other day I read an article that told me that it's in about 60,000 thoughts a day. You know what that means? It means that our head is constantly thinking about stuff. But the most interesting part of that article was that 80% of those thoughts, they're actually negative thoughts. I mean, who would have thought it? And on the other side, the fact that those thoughts are negative is actually a very clear indication on how easy it is to go into a downward spiral. A couple of months back, I found myself in a really difficult situation. You know, I felt like I was going down in my life and I didn't know how to cope or deal with it. And I remember this clearly because one of those days something really small happened and I was on my way to the gym. And I remember I couldn't walk anymore. So I stopped in the door of a commercial building. It was closed at the time. And I sit down there and I cry my eyes out while I had one of my friends on the phone. And that for me was one of those moments that define a change. I remember sitting there and I was telling to my friend that I was a failure, that nobody loved me, that I was ugly, that I was the most ridiculous person on earth. I don't think there was one thing that I said about myself that it was positive. On the contrary, I was being mean and ferocious against me. It's like I really hated myself. And that changed in a way. The next day I went home and I sit down and I decided to talk to my coach. Veronica is my coach and I'm gonna link her information down below in case you want to contact her. We were sitting there and we did this exercise, and this exercise that I'm going to share with you right now changed the outlook of everything that I was doing, and it gave me somehow the confidence to get back to do what I love. And sometimes that is hard in itself. So let's get started with this exercise. And in order to do that, the first thing that I want you to do is go and get a null pen and paper. And I mean it, pen and paper. I want you to write down like old-fashioned kind of thing. Take your time, I'll wait for you. So now that you're back with your pen and paper, I want you to say the same things that I did. You know, I remember on that conversation, she let me go through it deeply. No, I still have my notebook on that. Actually, give me 1 second, I'm gonna get it and we will do it together. 1 second. So now I'm back and this is my notebook. Not really good for the camera, but that was what I was working with. So we're going to start the exercise by writing I feel, because what you feel is not necessarily the reality. So let's start with I feel, colon, semicolon, 2 dots, whatever you want to put in there. And I'm going to read one of the things that I said so you can actually understand where I was coming from. So I said, I feel a failure, fat, silly, alone, lost, scared, rejected and ugly. There you go. If you think that was nice to say to myself, please stand up. But I can tell you, it wasn't nice or fair to me. But at this point in time, I don't want you to worry about that. Say exactly how you feel. It's not a big deal. Just say it. Don't judge yourself. Put it all out. Take it out and feel it. If you're done with that, now we're going to go to the second part. And the second part is get all of these adjectives that you have used or nouns, and one by one you're going to explain why you are saying what you're saying. And you think this is difficult, but it's not. It was very, very easy for me. And I'm going to tell you one of the things. For my adjective silly, I said, I feel silly because some people use me and take me for granted. Very simple. So go one by one, every single adjective, and I'll wait for you. As soon as you're done, just press play again. So now you're done with your entire list. Great. I'm not going to judge you because as you can see, I was horrible to myself. But now that we have established that I was bitch to myself and you have been a bitch to yourself, I want you to step out of that list that you made and tell me, if I was the one telling it to you, if it was your best friend telling this to you, what would you say to her? Because you would not allow your best friend to say those horrible, mean things to herself. And we have talked about it in some of the videos. You are your best friend. You trust yourself and you support yourself even on the hard times. So tell me, go one by one, all your list, and you tell to yourself, what would you say to your best friend? And I'm gonna give you an example. When I said that I was silly and that people use me and they take me for granted, my best friend / me said back to me, yes, some do, but most of them, they know they can trust you. And you know your real friends when difficult things happen. You are never alone because you have given them before. So yes, there might be some that take you for granted, but most of them, they're there for you. See? So go through every single line with the kindness you will show to a stranger. Show it to yourself, because at the end of the day, my dear, you are the most important company. You are your best friend. You can't rely on yourself. You will be there for you. And this is the best, easiest way to prove it. So I hope this exercise helps. I hope that you're feeling better after doing all of this. And if you guys know any other trick to feel better when you are being mean to yourself, I would love to hear about it. And you know how this goes. If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends, leave me a comment if there's anything you want to tell me, and subscribe. And if not, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.